Welcome to the 21 Report. I'm Frank Pesci, and I'm here with speaker, content creator, men's coach, and personal trainer, Allende Gordon. Allende, how are you?
How you doing, kind sir? Appreciate you.
Doing great. What do you think of the event that Anthony put together so far?
Well, in the place where we are right now in society, these things are absolutely necessary, and they're becoming more and more scarce, right? So we need these places where men of all ages can come, share, interact, have an experience, learn something, teach something, maybe even possibly share, you know what I mean? Open up their minds, have a different perspective. I mean, this is all good, healthy male behavior. And the fact that he incorporates the women into it is even more amazing. So yeah, I think it's extremely valuable. And at the same time, I think it's unfortunate that it's happening, so little. I think we need just more of this throughout our society. This needs to be more of a common thing. And we definitely need more guys to start coming out. I know that the views are great on the playback, but I feel like more guys should understand that this migration it's a priority, right? To come out and have that experience that's gonna last with you a lifetime, and it's gonna bring you back every year. You know what I mean? You get to see these people again. As more people are coming, new faces are coming, you also get to see those people you met the last time around. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
Do you find that this environment makes it easier to build relationships, new relationships, establish rapport with people because you come together under a common banner of personal growth or inspiration or equipping? How do you feel about the relationship, how the process of forming relationships happens in a place like 21 Convention?
Well, I think relationships have a lot to do with relating to one another, obviously, bringing and receiving value. But I think they also have a lot to do with continuity. Because if I meet you at this time, in this place, in this year, and we have a discussion, we both are aspiring to be better. But when I see you next year, what have you done in this time? What have I done in this time? So we create an expectation through relationships, or healthy relationships at least. And you want to show people the growth and the progress. Because part of them is counting on you. Because you made a verbal commitment to that other person as well as yourself. That, yeah, I'm really gonna start working on those things. Yeah, that suggestion you made, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna look into it. And each one teach one, and we all can learn.
So you're saying that in the framework of these relationships, we have a system of accountability for one another. Not so much that I have to worry about what Allende thinks of what I'm doing, but when I see him again, because I respect him and because he gave me value in the interactions that I had with him, I have a duty to return value to him, which means that I need to be moving forward in my life with a value add in everything that I do, thus creating a system of accountability. Now, as a content creator, that is to say, you are a speaker, you are among other great speakers who are moving in this space. Do you feel that you have a sense of accountability to the other speakers?
I feel like I have accountability to everyone that I interact with and I engage with. Because I am meeting people, right? And they're giving me their time, right? And they're giving me their trust, right? And their belief in me. So yeah, you use the word care, but then you use respect. So it's like, I shouldn't care what other people think. Well, if you respect that person, you absolutely should care what they think. Because whatever you do, they're guilty by association, because they associate with you. So to a degree, they're endorsing you.
Right.
You see what I mean? And people use the word like support. Oh, what do you think about this person? Because you support this person. Like, whoa. Do I support the person? Do I support their views? Are you sure of that? And what I mean by that is just being associated with someone. People view that as you support their behavior and their views. So yes, that accountability it's there.
Absolutely. So with that then, what's it like meeting your fans? People who have followed your content, interacted, engaged with your content. Now you have the opportunity to meet them in person, firsthand. I mean, and you're the speaker. And people come here to meet the speakers, to learn from the speakers, be part of that interaction. But what does it feel like from your perspective to meet your fans?
To me, it's informative, because I don't know who's on the other end of the screen. I don't know. And I don't know how they're perceiving me or how they're interpreting what I'm saying. Am I offending them? Am I motivating them? I don't know. When you meet them, questions are answered. And it gives you a better direction. It helps my GPS,
Right.
I know what direction I need to be going in more so, what adjustments I might need to make, okay, and how I'm influencing people. I think that's very important. So that I can better hone in on my skills, because I didn't choose this, I kind of fell into this. And it was it helping people and people coming and telling me that, giving me the testimonies that made me say, I think I need to,
Right.
I got to put more into this because people are getting something out of it, right? So I need the feedback to understand, is what I'm doing meaningful, and can it be even more meaningful? And if I can touch this amount of men and help this amount of men, well, how many more can I help? So that's the question I have to ask myself, and the people giving me the feedback helps me to answer it.
Yeah. The timing of your speech was very interesting. Another event that was happening was there was a panel that was going on with multiple speakers. And obviously you have to make a choice at
Who you're gonna
times
watch.
who you're going to watch. I will say in your room, there was first of all, there was a lot of people in your room, and there was a tremendous amount of attention given to your speech.
Okay.
First of all, I'd encourage everybody to go and watch it on 21 Studios. I sat in on it. I thought it was phenomenal. But maybe as a teaser, you can give the folks, here in the 21 Report, a little bit about what you spoke about today and what revelations you received for yourself after delivering it.
Well, I was aware of this event for, at least a couple of years. And to be contacted and invited was unexpected, to say the least, right? And I, immediately rose to the occasion. I said, "This is fabulous. This is great, right? This is my first speech, right? But this is the first time for everything, right? And I look at that as an amazing opportunity because I don't know, but I will know.
I had no idea that was your first
Right.
speech.
I'm going to know after this.
Wow.
Right. I'm going to be able to get critiqued. I'm going to be able to critique myself. So this is going to be great, going into this. And I said, all right, well, it's time to choose a topic, So I said, I want something that every man, because I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know what age they are. I don't know what they've experienced. I don't know what they need to hear, what they want to hear. So I want to hit something that's umbrella. I want to hit something that every man can get under it, right, and stay dry. And then I also want to speak about something that is not going to conflict with what any of the other speakers are saying. But guess what? I don't know what any of the other speakers are going to be talking about, right? So, God forbid that two people cover the same topic. Now it becomes a competitive thing. Well, who's better? They both talked about the same thing. I'm not here to compete with any speakers. I'm here to build with these speakers, right? So I chose sexual discipline.
It was a fantastic topic.
Right?
Please speak on it even more.
So I felt that this is something that I've struggled with. And I know for a fact every man has struggled with it. I know absolutely every man has struggled with this. It doesn't matter how good you are with women or how bad you are with women. You still struggle with it. You just express it differently. It manifests differently. And it manifests in what's at your disposal. If you have access to beautiful women, if you're in a position of power, now you struggle with indulging because it's there. You can have it. You can have it. You're the boss, right? Yeah. And if you're the weasel or the loser or the incel or whatever derogatory terms we want to use, you're at the other end of the spectrum. But you're still struggling with it because you might not can get the women, and that's stressing you out that you can't get that access, and you might be reducing yourself to a porn addiction, right? Two guys on the opposite ends of the spectrum. One with no power, one with all the power, right? One with no money, one with all the money. One with no women, one with all the women. But everything in between, right? It's struggling with making responsible decisions revolving around their desire for sex, right?
One of the greatest drives that any human has, never mind a man, is the sexual drive. It can be used for the most beautiful consummation and communication between two people, but it can also be one of the greatest tools of destruction. You talked in your speech about sexual regret. And when you spoke about that, I can tell you that my ears perked up because we all have life experience. And, it is something that every man must be thinking about front and center as they're pursuing their purpose, their assignment. How does their sexual drive either feed into the accomplishment of that purpose or the destruction of it?
Exactly.
So I'd love to hear you speak a little bit on that, if you don't mind.
Well, I believe, in energy. I believe in power, drive, incentive. I believe in these things. And the question is, are you a victim of it or are you in control of it? Are you harnessing that energy, right? Or are you submissive to it? Are you under it, right? So there's been times in my life where I've said, okay, if I even get the hint, the suspicion that something is controlling me, I need to turn the tables and get in control of it. So there was a time that I had to say, you know what, I'm going to be celibate. I'm going to practice abstinence. And I did it at a time when it was in abundance for me. So it's the hardest time to say no is when I chose to say no. Right. And I did that with alcohol. I did that with drugs. I did that with cigarettes, right? I did that with fast money. So I said, well, what's next? Because every time I've given up an addiction, every time I've taken control of an urge, I've felt stronger. I felt more empowered. I felt more focus and clarity. And I'm able to accomplish things that I think are important and are valuable and can add value to other people. So why was sex the last thing on that list? And then it dawned on me, maybe sex should have been the first thing on that list, because why do we go out drinking? Why are we using recreational drugs? Mm-hmm. Why do we pick up a habit of smoking cigarettes in a club? Well, why were we in the club in the first place? Why did we want fast money? Who were we trying to impress? Who were we in a rush to have money for? And it all kind of came back to pursuit of women anyway, and getting attention from women and validation and getting acceptance and access to women. It all came back to that anyway. So as men, we have to ask ourselves, even when we're successful at things, we have to ask ourselves, well, why are we so driven in this area in the first place? Why are we doing this? Who are we doing this for? Why did you buy that particular car? You know what I mean? Why did you buy that particular suit? Did you want to be taken seriously in the business world? Did you want your colleagues to respect you and look up to you? Or are you trying to impress some chick? One is admirable, one is not so much. So we just have to be honest with ourselves is what I'm saying. We have to know ourselves. And I think when it comes to the topic of sex, a lot of us just accept it and accept our behavior around it and accept the behavior of other men around it without really being honest with ourselves. Is that what your friend should be doing? Is that what your cousin should be doing? Is that what your brother should be doing? Are you not obligated to tell him, hey, you know, that's not respectable what you're doing, you know, be careful. Right. So, you know, I just want guys to have that conversation with themselves, because maybe they've never had it, because I know I hadn't had it up until that point. And then I looked at how much either destruction that I was causing in my own life through being irresponsible sexually, or how much risk I was taking that wasn't necessary.
I've heard a lot of talk this weekend about self-respect. And for me, being where I'm at in life, I respect myself tremendously. And because I respect myself, I know what my value is. And that governs the way that I make decisions, right, interactions, and engagements that I partake in. You're obviously a man with a high level of self-respect. You've also spoken about having a tribe, having systems of accountability, being a people person, being at the right place at the right time. What advice would you give young men, or anybody for that matter, listening to this talk about self-respect, being in the right place at the right time, and setting up systems of, you know, maybe people around you to stay accountable to your purpose and assignment?
Okay. Well, if I can get a quick little thing from my past when I was growing up. I had a grandfather that was like, you know, so grounded, you know, in his values and his morals, and everything was so like, you know, set in stone, but in a good way, right? He was a really good disciplinarian. And anytime I would do something and, you know, it wasn't the thing to do, you know, as a kid, anytime I get into trouble, one of the first things he would say to me is, how could you be so stupid? So he would always relate it to an intelligence thing. You know better. And it was never out of anger. It was out of disappointment. I expect more from you. And I remember when I want to go play with my friends and we'd all want to jump on our bikes and go do, you know, the stuff that young boys do. He was all for that kind of stuff. But he would say, listen, you need to do this first. You need to do your chores. You got to do homework. You got to do these things first. And there were so many lessons that my grandfather taught me just in a very simple response. But it was so meaningful because of the message he's sending. And I remember there was a time when I said, listen, I really want to go play with my friend's grandfather. Can I please just go do what I got to do? And I'll do these things later. He said, listen, you need to go rake those leaves. I said, Dad, I can rake the leaves tomorrow. I was trying to reschedule it. He said to me, rake those leaves, and then you can go play with your friends. I said, yes, but they're leaving now. They're going to leave me. They're not going to wait for me. He said, come here, let me tell you something. I said, what? He said, those are your friends? I said, yeah. He said, well, why haven't they asked if you have another rake?
That's deep, bro.
He had a way of putting things into perspective in a very simple, subtle way. He would ask a question, and you answering that question to yourself honestly proved his point. You said they were your friends. He set me up for that. He said, those are your friends? And he said, well, why haven't they grabbed the rake? And that's how I learned how to choose friends, is my point. To this day, when I look at my friends, majority of them, the vast majority of them, are husbands. They're doing well in business. They're husbands and fathers. That's rare nowadays as it is. Well, why does such a high percentage of my friends have that situation? And I myself was married, right? Don't have children out of wedlock. Most of my friends do not have children out of wedlock. So the point is by picking responsible friends from such a young age, those people continue to have good character. They might have been 10, 11, 12 at the time. Yeah, well, now they're 30 something or 40. My friends are between like 36 and 40, but they still have good character, right? They grab the fucking rake is what I'm trying to say, excuse my language.
100.
So that's the kind of thing that I want guys to think about, is that we choose the people that we put ourselves around. And if those are good people, by default, they're gonna hold us accountable. By default, they're not gonna tolerate things that are degenerate, that are risky, that are bad for business. They're gonna kind of watch our back. And we need that. We need that in the men that we put around ourselves, and we need that in the women that we put around ourselves. So when it comes to like developing a tribe, this isn't gonna happen overnight. A lot of guys right now, they have these social issues or whatever, and they're expecting there to be like this overnight solution. Like, just tell me some type of secret or cheat code or what. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Look how long ago I had to understand how to develop good friends in order to have them now. So it takes time. Get started as soon as possible, but just understand that you're building something of value. Rome wasn't built in one day. So this is how I look at building a tribe. And with that being said, is why would valuable people want to be around you if you're not valuable? So a lot of it has to start with self. Because I had to have that set of virtues and morals in order to pick people who also had it. I couldn't be holding these guys to a standard that I myself wasn't holding. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So when people go into a relationship with baggage, it obviously sets the tone for the relationship and
Go bad.
can poison the relationship.
Definitely.
For me, it's important that a man understands how to deal with regret, how to build self-respect before entering into an engagement, particularly in the framework of relationships, because you want to make sure that you bring your best foot forward and that you are setting the tone that you want a viable, responsible, mutually respectful relationship whereby you can do things together, engage projects, and do life. How do you, because I've heard you talk about it in, here and there, with those illustrations that you're so good at providing, how do you deal with regret? How have you dealt with regret? How do you advise people to deal with regret? It's something that all men struggle with somewhere.
I feel like regret is information. If you regretted it, that's because you shouldn't have done it. That's your moral compass right there. It's working for you. It's working. You don't need to change the batteries. So that regret can be useful if you harness it. I don't like this feeling. I'm not proud of myself. Let's not do this again. We know how this ends up. I don't need to beat myself up about it because I already know I regret it. And the way to deal with this regret is making a promise to myself that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do better. No, I'm never going to do this particular thing again. Well, how do I prevent myself from doing this particular thing again? I need to put a protocol into play. How should I have dealt with this? And this is how I'm gonna deal with something similar to this moving forward. Because I have plenty of other mistakes to make. So I don't have time to make the same mistake twice. Okay? I got other mistakes to make a first time. Let me get to those. So let's nip this one in the butt and let's agree on a protocol, a proper way to handle this. That's what it is from now on. Okay? This is how I prevent this from happening again. This is what I put in place to protect me from making this mistake that I made before out of ignorance. I'm not ignorant anymore. So there's no excuse to make the mistake. Let's go.
Right. You are somebody who has a prolific mind. You're very analytical, you're philosophical, you're deep, you can tell stories, you can make connections, you can draw parallels. But you're also at the top of your game with regard to physical fitness. How important is it for people to be physically fit in a culture today that tells you it's no longer important?
Okay, well, there was something that Arnold Schwarzenegger said once, and I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty simple. I think everybody can agree with that. And he said, bodybuilding isn't for everyone. But the process and the skill set that you learn can be applied to anything. And I thought, well, that's how I explain it to people. Because there's plenty of people that think, I don't gotta listen to what you're saying because I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. I'm not a bodybuilder. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is your health and your fitness and your level of discipline. Relax. I'm not trying to sell you on bodybuilding here. Right. But that's what they hear. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But him saying that, listen, the principles that you're going to learn and have to exercise, they can help you in any area, in every area of your life. You can apply them everywhere else. The beauty of bodybuilding is because it's so physical and mirrors are a thing, you can see the progress that you're making by keeping self-discipline at the forefront. You can actually see it. In other areas, when you apply it, it's not as easy to see it visually. So I think that that's kind of the help and the motivation that you get from understanding that a strong body comes from a strong mind, because you have to first discipline and conquer your mind and make the right decisions to gain that strength and that fitness first, right? So it makes your mind stronger is what I'm saying. So why would you not want to have that? Why would you not want to bring that into other areas of your life? And the level of discipline that comes with fitness, right? Discipline is the groundwork of everything, of being successful in any area. So any issue or any problem that a man might have and come to me, I already know this is going to have some relationship to a lack of discipline. I kind of already know that. Because whatever it is that you need to be doing to get better in that area, you're not doing it. That's a discipline issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's very valuable, I think, because do people look the way they want to look? You should look the way you want to look, because that's going to be part of respecting yourself, because you like the way you look, right? And we apply that logic to everything else, because we either buy the car that we like or we want to be able to afford the car that we like, how it looks. Oh, that house looks amazing. We need to go to an open house. I want to see that house on the inside because it looks so good from the outside. Right, you think about this house, baby, right? The aesthetics gets us first. Oh, wow, you have a lovely home. Are you smelling my home? Oh, no, you're looking at it. So, yes, it's one of the first things that people interpret about us is how we present ourselves visually. And then all these other things come after. And I tell guys all the time, you're asking me how to get girls to like you. Did you first ask why you like that girl? Exactly. She's attractive. Okay? Now, whether or not you stay with her or what level of relationship you want with her is going to depend on how she behaves, how she acts, you know, how she treats you. But initially, your interest came from how she looked. Right. So there's obviously a value there. So put that value, right? When I saw you, one of the first things I noticed was your suit. And I said, you have the aura of a lawyer. You know what I mean? You mean business. Before you even opened your mouth, I knew that you were a serious person. You meant business, right?
Right. I just want to say I am not an attorney, nor do I practice law. Just for that.
No, I know, but that's the vibe that I got from you, right? And it made me interested. That's why I asked you, are you a lawyer? Right? So you said, no, I'm a businessman. I said, okay, great. But my point is that was the interest. So if you didn't carry yourself with a certain level of respect, you might have been invisible to me. I might have missed you. And I mean, I'm not proud or ashamed of that. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. What do you want me to do?
Of course. Where can people find you?
Well, my YouTube channel is Authentic Alphas. I know, right? The most toxic name you ever heard. And I'm not really big on social media, so there's no point in sending you to my Instagram. I don't need the followers or anything.
Don't you have like 25,000 followers?
Yeah, I know, but it's like that's like my photo album, you know.
Okay, all right.
But I'm not gonna tell guys to go there if there's not meaningful things there, right? But definitely check me out on YouTube. Support the channel. Leave comments, give me feedback, let me know. It's a very small channel, but there's so much value there, guys.
But you're just getting started. It sounds like. It sounds like you are on a trajectory.
Yeah, I'm just getting started, and there's not a lot of bells and whistles there yet. There's not a lot of great production and amazing editing, but there's a lot of value though.
We believe it. Yeah. One more time, where can they find you on YouTube?
Authentic Alphas. Everything's spelled correctly.
Perfect. Thank you for watching the 21 Report. I am Frank Pesci with Allende Gordon, speaker, personal trainer, men's coach, and content creator. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.